Hey everyone, welcome to another great episode of the Smooth Business Growth Podcast, where we share 15 minutes of fast-paced pure marketing strategies proven to move the needle in your business. So I'm your host and captain, Lindsay Phillips. I am the founder of Smooth Sailing Business Growth, where we help busy entrepreneurs attract and convert customers faster through powerful and consistent content marketing. In fact, if you go to smoothbusinessgrowth.com, you can download your social media roadmap to help you do just that. So today, I'm super thrilled to be speaking with author, speaker, and Facebook ad expert. She's been on my show before, so I wanted to have her back because she's an absolute whiz, Mojca Zove, and she'll share some tips on how to create profitable Facebook campaigns. So let's set sail. Welcome aboard, Mojca.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, you've been my go-to girl for a while on asking questions about Facebook ads. And so at least I'm in the know more than I was a number of years ago. But there's a lot of people out there that haven't dabbled into Facebook ads yet. And I like how you call it the science of Facebook ads. Why do you tout it as that phrase?
Because Facebook ads are definitely, there is a little bit of science to it. I mean, when you open up your Facebook ads manager, it looks so complicated, and you have to know. And we talked about this previously, but it changes every single day. It's frustrating, but then at the same time, once you put all the pieces together, and once you know the science behind the Facebook ads, it can be really profitable for your business. So that's why I called it the science of Facebook ads, because there is a little bit of science to it. You have to know a couple of things in order to launch successful campaigns.
That is so true. And yeah, you go in the back end there and you're like, oh my God, where do I start?
Yes. And I get a lot of people like that as well.
I know. So it can be daunting. And I mean, a lot of people dabble in Facebook ads on their own. A lot of people, of course, hire experts like yourself. But those that are, diving into it on their own and they're trying to figure it out, what would you say are three of the biggest mistakes that they make when trying to do it on their own?
Yeah, the number one thing is definitely they go straight to promotion. So they don't try to qualify their audience or anything like that, but they have this mindset that if they're paying for Facebook ads, they have to get something back immediately. So they don't advertise any traffic ads or brand awareness, anything like that, but they go straight to promotion and they're unsuccessful. So that's the number one reason and the number one biggest mistake that they do. The second of all is, and it ties to the number one a little bit, they usually don't have any structure to their Facebook advertising campaign. So there's no strategy behind it. It's a thing of inspiration, and they open up their Facebook ads manager, they launch a campaign and hope to get some sales. So if you don't have any structure, you're probably not going to get any sales either, because you're not going to know how to connect all the dots together. You're not going to know how to create the strategy that qualifies the audience and that gets the sales at the end. And the last kind of mistake is on the visual part. People think that the visuals or copywriting as well, that it doesn't really matter. So they don't put a lot of effort into it.
Right.
But that's the number one thing that people see when they open up their Facebook app and they scroll on their newsfeed. So if your visual doesn't draw people in, if it's not engaging, they're just going to scroll past it. So you have to spend a little bit more time usually to create compelling and engaging visuals to, just draw the people in there.
That's so true. And I like what you emphasized in regards to having a plan, because a lot of people, I call it throwing the spaghetti on the wall and hoping it sticks strategy.
Yes.
And it just don't work, people. And you made a good point where it's like people do just like, oh, I need to promote something so I can get leads, I can get sales and stuff. But you, just like content marketing, right? You need to like build a relationship. You need to warm up the audience.
Yeah, exactly. And people just skip that part and go straight to
Yeah.
promotion. And usually 99%, it really doesn't work. So you have to put some time into, those first steps as well.
That is so true. They are great. Yeah, great tips right there. Now, so when we're diving into Facebook ads, I mean, naturally we're focused on sales and numbers and leads. What should our goals be when starting Facebook ads?
First of all, you definitely need to know what your goals goals are. So, what do you want to achieve? Every business is different. Every business has different goals. So just write that down. And then you have to work backwards. So how do people usually come to that goal? How do people usually achieve that? So if my goal is, for example, to get more clients, I'm going to work backwards. So how do I usually land clients? And that's how I'm going to design the structure of my strategy. And that's how I'm going to know exactly what goals I have for each campaign. So naturally, what you want to do with your Facebook advertising strategy is to qualify people. And that's what people usually forget about.
Right.
So you don't just go out there and target every single person in the States, but you have to know exactly who your target audience is, and you have to slowly qualify them. So not every entrepreneur and not every business owner is going to be my client, but I have to slowly qualify them through a funnel. But like I said, you design that funnel based on the goals that you have and how people usually come to that goal, if that makes sense.
Yep, that totally makes sense. And it's so basically what I'm hearing is that when you're targeting, you need to be more specific.
Oh, yes. People are usually very vague when it comes to targeting, but there's the other spectrum as well. So you cannot be too specific. If you are too specific and if you're targeting a very, very narrow target audience, you're probably not going to achieve your results and your goals either. So there is that sweet spot in between that you have to aim for.
Now, of course, I know, in working with you in the past and with Facebook's in general, the magic word here is testing. And I think a lot of people miss the boat. So can you explain how testing can help optimize?
Oh my God, yes. And that's a great point right there. Whenever I ask a prospect, so one of the first things that I do usually with a prospect is I do like a teardown of their existing strategy and their existing campaigns. And usually the thing that's missing all the time is any kind of A/B tests.
Yeah.
So they have one campaign, they have one ad set for one type of audience, and then they have one copy and one visual, and that's it. So they don't have any A/B tests. They don't A/B test any visuals, A/B test copy, A/B test different audiences, different age groups. They don't do any of that. And at the end, if you don't do that, you don't exactly know who your target audience is and who is the most effective target audience, so to speak. So what A/B testing does is essentially you get to know your audience, and not just the audience, but what that audience reacts to. Is it people on the visuals that they react to in a positive and effective way? Is it a long form copy, a short form copy? Is it a video or an image? And all of that knowledge, once you collect it, once you learn more about your target audience and what your target audience likes, the more effective your campaigns will be once you move forward, because you'll have all that knowledge and you're going to be able to immediately apply it once you're launching the campaign.
And that's where your science of Facebook ads come in, because that's a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. And so one tip that I have for all the listeners, you don't need to go really specific and create any kind of like complex spreadsheet in order to track all of that data. But you can, once you're starting with A/B testing, it can be really, really simple. Just have one Google Doc with a couple of bullet points with all of your findings that you're generating through launching your campaigns. So what type of visuals do they usually does your target audience usually react to? What type of copy? What's the most kind of popular age group with your ads and with your services? So all of that points, just write them down. Forget about the format. The format doesn't matter at that point. Just write them down so you have all of that written down, black and white, and you know what to do when you're launching the next campaign.
Awesome. And it's honestly, just from experience, amazing the results that you get. It's like you think a certain picture is going to attract your audience, or like a certain, I don't know, text or whatever. And then you're like, nope, this boring one that you think is totally boring or whatever gets attention. But sometimes you never know. It's like, you don't know unless you test.
And to be honest, I've been wrong as well. So I always whenever I launch a campaign, I always test multiple images and multiple visuals. And I always I pick my favorite in my head. Like, I think this one is going to work. But sometimes it really, really doesn't. Sometimes I'm wrong, but that's the point of testing. So I always use definitely one image that I think that it's going to work, and then I have one image that I think it's not going to work. Like, definitely not. But usually, sometimes that image that I think it's never going to work,
I know,
ends up being the best one.
It's so bizarre. It's like a fun game you can have while you're doing Facebook ads.
Yes. That's why I love Facebook ads.
Awesome. Now, I know a lot of Facebook ad experts focus on cost per click, and many entrepreneurs can't wrap their head around it. And I didn't understand it at first either, but like, obviously besides your budget, why does cost per click even matter?
Just to kind of estimate how your ads are performing, how people are clicking on your ads. One thing that I have to emphasize at this point is, cost per click means they can click anything. So they can click a like, they can click on the name of your Facebook page, they can click anywhere on your ad, and that's going to count as click. Right. And that is one aspect of observing how people are reacting to your ads, how people are engaging with your ads. And I think that's, one of the reasons why cost per click matters. That said, if you are trying to generate more traffic to your web page, the one objective or optimization that I would optimize for is actually landing page view. And that's different from different from click. So click can be anywhere on the ad, and landing page view is when someone actually lands on your landing page. So whenever you start diving into Facebook ads, getting to know a little bit about optimization and different objectives, these are the two different things that you need to be aware of once you're launching your campaigns.
Perfect. Good to know.
I took a turn on that question a little bit.
That's all right. I noticed that. I go with the flow. It's all good. It's all tips that we can take, right?
Absolutely. I'm usually very broad with my answer, like trying to give as much knowledge that I can.
Because it's more than just like the Facebook ad itself, right? You have to pay attention to the landing page, and you brought up a really good point. Your landing page matters because that's what's going to get the conversion.
Absolutely.
Any good tips for, things that you should do or shouldn't do when it comes to the landing page part of it?
So one thing that I think matters a lot, but people usually forget about is just showing a little bit of personality on your landing page. I have worked with a lot of businesses, and what people usually look for once they are in the, they click on the landing page and they're getting to know your business a little bit, they're looking for more information about you. So who you are, how you started your business, how did you come to that point? Because that's one way for them to legitimize your business, to just find out if is this a real thing, or is this just a generic landing page that someone put together because he's trying to validate an idea and he's not exactly sure if he really wants to do this or not. And that's how they kind of legitimize your business. That's how they get to know you. And people usually forget about that. They don't include that on their landing page. They don't talk about themselves. They don't put They don't put a picture of themselves or any kind of, bio or anything like that. They just forget about all of that. But that's what really matters. That's what you have to include on your landing page if you want your landing page to convert. Because if people don't know who you are, they're probably not going to buy someone from a complete stranger.
And that's true. And we as entrepreneurs often assume if they're clicking on our landing page that they already know who we are and what we're about. And that's so not true.
And that's it's definitely not true.
I'm sorry for the ego, but it's just not true. Awesome. So what's trending right now with Facebook ads? Are there things that, has there been a shift over the past few months of what's working and what's not?
Oh yeah, there are always these shifts and these trends. So I'm trying to keep my eye peeled on every single thing happening in the Facebook ads world. So nowadays, what I found out that really, really works well is long form copy. So a couple of years ago, the less text that you had in your ad, the better it was. So if you had like 1, 2, max 3 sentences, your ad was probably performing better than, the ads from your competitors that had more sentences and more copy. But nowadays, it's just different. People started to read. People read on Facebook for some reason, and they really enjoy reading a long form sales copy. Just explaining everything behind the idea, how you got to that point, injecting a little bit of personality into it. Sometimes the ad copy that I write and the ad copy that performs the best is the same length as a blog post. So it has multiple paragraphs, and people read through it. People read it, people engage with it, and that ad copy usually ends up being the best one. So that is the number one thing that I would mention at this point. And the second thing is video.
Yes.
It is so easy to do good video content for your ad because you don't need a professional camera. You don't need a crew. All you need is a phone, just in selfie mode, talking about your product, talking about the thing that you're promoting, talking a little bit about yourself, and you're good to go. But people forget about that a little bit because they think that they need to have everything professionally done, which is absolutely not the case. I have worked with big companies that really recorded their videos with a phone, and it ended up being a fantastic strategy.
Totally. And I noticed Frank Kern, his Facebook ads have switched to him more casual in his car or whatever, and you can tell he's just doing it from his phone.
What people also miss and kind of forget about is that big companies and these big personalities are actually turning in the other direction. They have the budget to hire a professional crew that's going to professionally record and edit and everything. But they don't do that because people tend to engage with those personal videos. Because when Frank does that, you feel like you're sitting with him in that car, like he's talking directly, and the big brands are actually turning to that strategy now. So all the small businesses out there, you have that advantage.
Yeah, so true.
So just do it.
Awesome. Love it. Some great tips. So we are, our 15 minutes is up already. It goes by so fast, but I want to make sure
it does.
It does. But you packed a lot of good tips in there, and I want to make sure that everyone knows about your video course that you have. If you can quickly share that and let them know where to go to find it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I recently launched a video course, like you mentioned, The Science of Facebook Ads, and it can be found on thescienceoffacebookads.com. And we actually dive into these really specific details regarding the copy and the targeting and potential reach and everything all together. So if any of the listeners are interested in a video course about Facebook ads, I'm offering 50% off for all of your listeners.
Awesome.
And the coupon code is Let's Set Sail.
Love it.
I'm going to send you direct links as well. But yeah, there you go.
Love it. Thank you for that. And great
Absolutely.
coupon. Awesome. I always love chatting with you. You have such great energy, and you know Facebook ad inside out. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So this week's 15-minute cruise to move the needle in your business has sadly come to an end. But thanks again to Mojca for joining us. And if you folks are looking to achieve faster growth through content marketing, whether it's videos, blogs, podcasts, social media, or sales funnels, look no further than smoothbusinessgrowth.com. So have a profitable and productive week, folks, and may the winds always be at your back.